Welcome to Omni Tales.
Chapter 2. A Mystical Incident. Before dawn, before the suns, created by the ancient Mystica, could pierce the thick mists, two voices were lost to the swirling wind currents of Ouroboros. Even those who heard the cries could do nothing, for a minute and a half was not enough time to quench their curiosity in this ominous setting. Among those who believed themselves closest to the source, only Nostor, a renowned no-revision whisper, felt a rush of excitement.
"What a ghastly scream at such a ghastly hour,"
he whispered, clutching a whisper leaf in one hand. The enchanted leaf recorded the scream in a series of shifting letters, while his other hand gripped a mystica known as the Scruna. Shaped like a book, this mystica contained the first and last draft of his current work in progress, abandoned when pure mental exhaustion forced him to clock out for the day. That didn't mean he went to bed or fell unconscious. No, sir. Ouroboros flooded its inhabitants with too much energy for that. Instead, Nostor crawled into his cloud sheets and stared up at the arch over his bed. The structure thrummed with power, implanting thoughts and diversions every other minute. This wasn't sleep, far from it. But in a realm where sleep meant death, where exhaustion could never overpower the relentless currents of energy, certain ornics were essential to keep the mind from splintering into oblivion. His arch was crafted from the ornixes of three mystics, Resonix, Quinara, and Flutter, and powered by the Veyrunite ore, which mimicked motion in a stationary object, allowing a still body to siphon away excess energy. The Resonix's hum soothed the soul. The ever-shifting colors of a Quinara feather provided a mesmerizing feast for the eyes and mind, while the Flutter's magical dust transported its user into a multidimensional state, effectively shielding them from the powerful lure of Ouroboros. All this just to keep a person from going insane. There was no way Nostor would risk an investigation, no matter how enticing the mystery, even if it was the scoop of the century.
"One has to be sane to enjoy the rewards. Thank you very much."
Far away, around the same time, the Halloway master of Zone N147 tapped his foot against the pavement, nervously awaiting the arrival of his first Arbocentis carrier mystical. The Arbocentis was a colossal, elongated creature, its massive, spindly legs stretching outward like the limbs of an ancient forest tree. There was no way he could miss its approach. At least, that's what Gary, the Halloway master, told himself. Based on travel distance, the amount of Quinsel a passenger was willing to spend, Halloway benefits, and a plethora of other factors, the station master had to prepare the Mystica and fine-tune individual carriages to match each traveler's requests. Gary Coach hated statistics more than he hated his luck. Among the few who had lived through the Third Era, Gary's luck had blocked him from obtaining the riches most naturally acquired while transitioning into the next. Ever since, anything remotely related to basic statistics has stumped him. There were many without a guru, a basic teacher, to guide them through their journey. But for Gary, his luck made learning math a moot point, let alone mystic math. During the dire times when the government handed out surplus stars and high-ranking positions to advance careers, he found himself unknowingly breaking laws, unaware that, apparently, rules changed during situations of crisis. Just as earning stars had become easier, losing them had too. Gary bounced from one job to another, the fluctuating star system and ever-changing societal rules carving deep wrinkles into his once young, elastic face. He remembered being in his 20s when he first forgot his birthday. After that, many more slipped by, leaving him unable to recall his own age. His luck, however, finally shifted when he became the Halloway master of Zone N147. Some high-ranking official in the arcane force had misread his experience as a mere carriage boy, combined with his old age, as a sign of excellence in mythical transportation, and offered him the position. Not wanting to pass up the luxuries of his final days, Gary accepted. From day one, he lied to himself, and to his crew. He bribed his subordinates with promises of his soon-to-be-vacated position, convincing them to do his job for him. He learned more by watching them work than by doing it himself, all the while fearing that his bad luck would soon catch on. He could already imagine it lurking in the shadows, waiting to wipe the unusual smile off his face and restore his lifelong misfortune.
A frown had been written, and a frown shall remain until reincarnation,
a shaman had once told him, and today his bad luck had finally made its move. It had delivered a wonder straight to his doorstep. Not even a week into his new position, the infamous Ouroboros had traversed the vast plains, only to stop at his workplace before its designated time. He had no land to claim damages, no means to set out on a quest to the mysterious mountain in search of better luck. Instead, he was stuck managing the one lucky break he had cheated his misfortune into giving him. Every one of Gary's underlings was now off enjoying their wild rooster chase inside Ouroboros, while he was left to man the station alongside his soon-to-return misfortune. The constant back-and-forth traffic led to a flood of complaints, but as the station manager and the sole recipient of said complaints, Gary used the angry letters to keep the fireplace in his cabin running. Up until now, this trick had worked, but soon an official from the arcane force was set to arrive. There was no way he could simply toss that complaint into the fire. So for the first time in a while, Gary worked more diligently than before. He paced around the station, checked on the Senti Mystica, which would replace the incoming Arbor Sentis, and ran through the station's checklist. He also inspected the multipurpose Ekanze, a Mystica responsible for keeping both his pants and the carriage doors in place. Practicing a few chants over the Ekanze, he somehow managed to entangle himself in the very vines that made up the platform's floor. Locked within several layers of Ekanze, he sighed.
I wish someone would fire me already.
Lucky for him, the only transports allowed to break a schedule were those that ran into a terrifying mystica, or those that had encountered a wonder of wanderlust. Wonders had a unique trait. They distorted physical laws, attracted mystica, and could mystically erase objects, people, mystica, or even entire regions from wanderlust itself. Gary wished the Arbor Sentis would roll right off the massive oak branch and into Ouroboros. That way, he'd only lose his joy, not his sanity. Anything short of that would lead to endless inquiries, forced community service, another excruciating math-involved investigation to determine his true age, and stars owned, something even he didn't want to know.
I'm still close to Ouroboros,
Gary assured himself, croaking out a chant to free himself from the Ekanze's grip.
I can still access the market and buy some luck, right?
But all his hopes were shattered with the low, unmistakable rumble of bark smashing against bark. The Arbor Sentis was making its way back to the station. Gary groaned, drawing out a sleek wooden skateboard. Kicking off, he glided across the platform, hopping from one massive vein to another until he reached the station's Silverin. Unlike the Pixen race, whose powers lay in movement and survival upon Ouroboros, Silverins were wanderers who had found a way to forge a mystic connection with a nature-attuned mystica. Some even served as hosts, transforming their wanderer bodies into living nests where fairies slumbered. Silverins had an earthly complexion and were the only ones capable of communicating with nature, or more precisely, the mystica within it. Gary only resented his lack of education when it came to Silverins for one particularly beautiful reason. Delas, a female Silverin tasked with maintaining the ancient Maesler oak trees near the N147 Halloway station, felt the faint scraping of vines and shivered.
Reckland,
she chanted, brushing her thick, bushy hair off her forehead. At once, both her ivory-colored, vine-like hair and the tangled network of tree veins upon the platform straightened themselves. Overhead, branches wove together, forming an arched canopy of leaves for shelter.
Thanks.
Delas beamed, running her fingers through her hair. It chimed back, purring in response. The sudden shift in the environment didn't faze Gary. He simply flipped his onyx board over his shoulder and landed on his feet with practiced ease.
The arborcentus is about to arrive.
He blurted out, before his thoughts could betray him, before he could get lost in Delas's beauty. After experiencing one too many awkward silences, Gary had learned to spit out important information before going completely speechless in her presence. It was still weird, but at least now Delas understood what he was trying to say before it was too late for her to act. Gary wasn't sure if all Silverins carried themselves with such grace and poise, or if it was just Delas. She moved with an elegance that could put even the historian race to shame. Her light brown skin reminded Gary of home and the soft, nostalgic scent that lingered around her, like rain meeting dry earth, trapped his senses in a state of quiet awe. Silverins were nature with legs, and boy did he realize how much he had missed out on life during adolescence, blinded by the prejudices of his time.
Make sure to please the almighty algorithm on your way out, and that shall notify you on the next chapter's release. See ya in the next one.